Welcome to the Dennis Report. I'm Dennis Atchison. There is a gap or a vacuum in today's media in very general terms of finding a program that brings you authentic speech, where the guest gets to finish their thought, speak with passion and excitement about things that matter to them. And most importantly, in my role of host, is to make sure that it demonstrates how everything's connected. The idea for the show was born out of a website that I manage and in a pitch from the station manager here at CHCO Television to come and do a program more than current events, more than political, more than economy. It was about a discussion that allowed all of those pieces to begin to fit together again. Now, we're feeling pretty good because we've been doing it for about 10 months now and we know we've got something. So it's time for this step. So we'd like you to take a look at a montage of some of the interviews we've had so far. And then I'll be back with the rest of what we're working on.
Industry wants more wood in order to make these capital investments. Makes sense. We as woodlawn owners, we have wood available sustainably. Like, we're not cutting up to our maximum annual allowable cut, that what I mentioned earlier, that sustainable level. So we have wood. Whereas the Crown land, which is public land, you always got to remember that's public land, is essentially maxed out. And that's why the environmental conservation side is so excited, because they know that that wood's going to have to come out of those deer yards and those stream buffers and the old growth forest. If the government had a little innovative, and it could have been a real positive thing, because they could have maybe instituted some policy or some recommendations that a portion, we're going to support you in your investments, Mr. Industry. Here's some Crown wood, but you need to purchase some private wood. Balance it out. Everybody potentially could be a winner.
So every time you get a big dealer like Walmart or Costco or something that's coming to town, people are super excited because they think, yes, we've made it. We're finally a big city. We're getting these great new retailers, and they're going to bring us so much money with all of their retail taxes and all of that. And what they're not looking at is the inefficiency of that model of development. If we're building the road and we're building the pipes out to their massive parking lot, and they're sprawling out there, it's a very low value crop. And that's something that people haven't quite clued into.
If people valued food more, they'd cook more, they'd waste less, they'd eat less, they'd eat together, and they'd talk more. A lot of, in the pipe dream of mine is, here's this whole tick box list of social ills that could be cured if you just valued food more in your daily life and put more of your time, a higher percentage of your time and a higher percentage of your wallet into such a crucial part of your lives.
What kind of New Brunswick do we want? What's our vision of the future? What kind of communities do we want? What's the vision of the future of our communities? And that's a debate that needs to be joined. And fundamentally, the reaction to things like fracking is about that. In other words, what's happening, I think, is people are responding, saying, well, that's not the kind of New Brunswick we want. Stop.
When you want to go get a job in your field, they either require you to have 5+ years experience, or the minimum now is a master's degree for a lot of things. So not only do you have this bachelor's degree, you just don't know what to do with it. So, and for that job I got at NSCC, I didn't need a bachelor's degree for that. I just needed a college diploma. So I could have saved myself, if I wanted to stay at that job, I could have saved myself 4 years and $40,000.
% of energy is essentially non-renewable. So therefore, the more energy you use, the higher your carbon footprint. About 5 years ago, I won't say the name of the company, but it's a company in New England who supplies Walmart. And this is about the time Walmart was looking at wanting to encourage their vendors to reduce their carbon footprint. So we went in there and we helped them reduce their energy consumption substantially. Them not linking the fact that we're helping reduce their carbon footprint as well, which we did by about 20%. So the context then becomes, not only did we save energy, but we can now go to one of our major clients and say, we've reduced our carbon footprint by X.
You know, when I first held my grandson for the first time, once I got the chance to get him from my wife, and I was looking at the baby. The baby was content. You're trying making sure that you don't upset them or anything. But that child was totally dependent on loving parents. And the focus of that child is love and care, nourishment, all the basic necessities that we read about and take for granted. But I said, now there's this baby resting peacefully and gently and safely in my arms. And I held that baby 10 minutes. Well, when you do that, what it does to you emotionally, spiritually, and physically is incredible.
Yes.
There's tremendous peace.
Yes.
And whenever I speak to adults, I say, if we can experience that from one child, for one person, maybe when we begin our day, this is how we should do it.
So we're really excited about what we're creating here, and we know we have something. But the challenges we face get into how do we build a bigger audience, because we know this conversation is going to matter, and it's going to speak to something that'll resonate for more and more people. So there's 2 or 3 challenges. One, we need to reach a bigger audience, which means we need to do a bit of advertising. So far, it's just been word of mouth. Number 2 is the station where we do this in St. Andrews, New Brunswick, is very small, and it needs some technical support and some software to help it keep going in the direction it needs to go. That, in turn, will help all the other programs that come out of this little station. You should know that CHCO is broadcast through Bell Media, and technically it goes to 1.6 million homes across Canada. You just need to know to look for channel 539 in order to find us. As well, I'll post the programs up on YouTube on the channel The Dennis Report. So we know we've got some infrastructure in place, but now we need to bring it to a point where it's more professional, has the resources, so we can deliver a conversation that really matters, not only in Little New Brunswick, on politics, in the economy, and education, and healthcare, on how to build a community, how to love each other again and build a community out of compassion. But as well, that conversation probably needs to trickle across all the provinces and trickle anywhere where there's a need for community to come together again to create where it's going to go in the future. Globalization creates many pressures. One of those pressures is getting to know your community again. The more things get bigger, sometimes the more you have to pay attention to the local. And all of that is built on a simple premise: authentic speech. When you give people the space to speak from the heart and speak with compassion, good things happen. The Dennis Report has that as its goal, its passion, its auspices, because everything's connected. Hope you support the program, and looking forward to see the results.